Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. It is the 10th of September. So we started off going in what looks like a bit of a range, and this is turning into what's looking like a channel. So I've just been looking at yesterday, and we had this big leg up and then a couple of legs down. So there is a possibility of a leg and a leg, which would get us up to something like that, or there maybe. But I think there's a good chance of getting a bit higher. So market has just opened. So I'm trading Apex on the one side, Apex pairs on the one side, and on the NQ side, I'm trading with MyFundedFutures evaluation. So that's interesting. Strong push up off there. So it does look like we are in a bigger channel. So let's see how we get on there. This is just not doing a lot at the moment. It's a little bit sideways there. It's a little bit sideways here. So just making sure everything's where it should be. Yes. Okay. So small little bit of congestion there, and the same here. So just looking at yesterday to see where we could go. We have down, down, down. It does kind of look like we are starting to move back up. So that's interesting. NQ, really strong push off there. So I have this channel here, thought overshoot initially, but I've noticed on Thomas Wade's Discord, people are widening their channels a little bit. So I think the trouble is when you've got a wide channel like this, you just can't take anything here because we're a million miles away from that EMA and that possible bottom of this channel. So there's just nothing we can really do at the moment. We got to wait. If it is a channel, we got to wait for it to get here or come back down. It could be making range tops. It's hard to say, really. There is some support and resistance around where it is now. That's interesting there. I'm trading this. Hey, Speedy, how you doing, buddy? I'm trading this on an evaluation on the MyFundedFutures. So I looked at that. I was tempted to buy there because that's quite a strong move, that is. But it's a fair size bar, although it is an evaluation. I don't want to be ridiculous with it. But so just in case nobody knows, yesterday my code is working again now, UKFT. Finally, it took them a week to sort it out, but they did it in the end. I'm guessing they're busy on the messages at the moment. Okay, right. I'm just not ready to go along here at the moment because if this is a channel, it's a bit vague, isn't it? I have a feeling this just may be like a range top. It's laying down. Okay, so I can adjust that a fraction if I need to. So got a little leg down with a break. Well, no, it's not actually a break. Sam, how you doing, my friend? Which MyFundedFutures account did you get? Starter, mate. The expert doesn't make any sense to me. I don't see how you benefit so starter, mate. If you use, I have got a link in this description. If you use that and you use UKFT, it will knock you a little bit off. So it goes from 80 down to, I think, 76. If you follow my link, it doesn't cost you anything, but I do get a little commission for it. So if you do choose to use it, it's appreciated. But yeah, I just don't see the point in the expert. It doesn't. What does it give you? I don't see what it gives you that the starter doesn't. But also, one quick point, they do like you to go for 5 points or more. So really, you really need to trade that one. Well, I say that if you're scalping on the ES, I would suggest doing it on the NQ like I am, because you go for a little bit more. The point system's a little bit more here. So obviously, I don't know how you trade, whether you trade Pats or not, but that's why I'm trading it on the NQ. You can get a little bit more in the way of points. So that is my suggestion to you, bud. So it's hard to know what's going on here at the moment, really. Is this just the top of some kind of range, or is this a break? We may have a leg and a leg. Is this really a channel? It's hard to say at the moment. It touches, and it kind of works, but it hasn't gone up enough, really, for me to think this is definitely a channel. Oh, it could be like a 2-tier channel. It's a bit hard to say. Or maybe a bit of an overshoot and this thing's coming back. But I think from what I can see, I know Thomas Wade's got it as a bigger channel. So I think there's a few he's got it as a bigger channel as well. So and someone else. So that kind of makes sense to me. I like to have a little bit of a second. So we've got a leg and a leg. So we've got to be careful with an entry here. So I suggest high or low if that's what I'm looking for, if indeed that's how it continues to work. So we've got a leg and a leg on the NQ. It's quite sharp on the NQ, but there is a possibility of a break in a new high. So I could adjust that slightly to there, to fit there, in which case we've had a break in a new high. So we just got to be a little careful here, which is why I'm thinking more in the way of high or low. So we've got a leg down. Not another yet. I trade Pats. Yeah, the point scalp rule got me. Yeah, in all honesty, mate, you really need to trade that. If you use a MyFundedFutures, you need to trade that on the NQ, and that'll be okay. I like them. There's some things I like about it. I like that if you want to go for a bigger move, you can do. It's an end of day drawdown, so if you let the market go up, come back and get you for break even, it doesn't affect your drawdown. And I kind of like having that option because I do want to try and go for bigger moves, especially when we're having trading days. You know, maybe a move from here, instead of getting 2 or 3 points, you could potentially get 3 or 4 times that. It'd be nice to get some decent size wins, which would sort of mitigate your losses comfortably. So that's what I'm trying to do in obviously when we have sort of trending days rather than range days. But yeah, I'm trading my, as I can see, I've got that little icon there, just to, down here rather, just to indicate that I'm trading MyFundedFutures on here. Having said that, I did see a video a couple of days ago of a guy who got paid out, and he had a lot of break evens and went for a couple of a tick or two here there. We all now and again decide to get out of a trade for one reason or another, so that doesn't seem to present an issue. So I just think they're not after traders who are doing 10 or 15 trades a day. If you're doing a couple a day, 2 or 3 trades a day, it's not an issue, I don't think. So this NQ looks like it may be coming down in a channel, which could possibly indicate we have had a small break. So I'm going to just put that there as a small break. We got a touch, a touch. Put that there. Small break there. Sometimes breaks. I've been caught out by breaks a quarter of that size. So So there is a failure there, stroke lower high there, but it's going a bit sideways here, so I'm just not sure. I'm staying out of this at the moment because on my chart, this is the first break. Hey Dean, how you doing, mate? I'm funded with MyFundedFutures, been scalping 2 or 3 points and lots of break-even trades. Do you think they will not pay me? I think it's a tough one, mate. They say we don't want people micro scalping, so it depends what they mean by micro scalping. I just don't think they want people taking a dozen trades a day. So it's hard to say, really, mate. I don't know is the answer, which is why I tend to trade it on the NQ, because obviously the point system is a little more, but there was a lot of this one guy I saw, there was a lot of break-evens and that, so I don't think they'll sort of refuse your point blank. I think it might be a good idea just to go for more points. If I was you, mate, I don't know is the answer, but if I was you, I would concentrate more on trading that particular account on the NQ, which is what I'm doing. It just stops me from getting up any sort of problems. Okay, now do I want to go long here? Not just yet, because it might be a failed breakout and this thing may come down. Or it could be bottoming and it going higher. Hey, bud, how you doing? Trouble is, if I go long here to push up to these highs, it could trigger and come back into this little bit of, well, it's more congestion rather than a range, isn't it? So my strategy only works with ES, does it really? I don't know, mate. I don't want to say yeah, I don't want to say no. What strategy is it? What strategy are you trading? It's not Pat's, is it? Lots of break-evens. Break-evens are not an issue. Every trader has break-evens. It doesn't matter what you... Oh, sorry. It doesn't matter what you do. Every trader has break-evens. So that's why I didn't want to get into a trade just at the moment, just in case this thing comes lashing down. See if we can get a high low or something. I'm just going to get an order ready submitted, just in case we get a higher low here. Not sure about that. Let's see what happens here. Could come down below this, see, so just quickly, guys, anybody know if we got any news today? Nothing shown on my, excuse me, nothing. In fact, let me just get rid of
order
that.
cancelled.
That's why I didn't want to get into anything there, because I had a feeling that may come down. It's hard to know whether we've had a break from here, see. Rejected opening price level. Yeah, RSI keeps away from bad trades and gives me good trades on traps. Yeah, do you know, I'm hearing a lot of more experienced traders saying much better to take a trade in the direction where you've got traders trapped. The liquidity gives you a lot more momentum there. So that bar there, did that break that there? I don't think it did it? No, it didn't. So maybe some shorts there, maybe some shorts there, maybe a few there even. So, but this at the moment is just getting a little bit unclear. From what I can gather, they've been a bit vague in it. I just don't think they want people taking dozens of trades. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no entry there. We've just got two big bars and we're nearly here already. Yeah, someone's got a higher low there. I haven't, unfortunately. Someone on Thomas Wade's has got a higher low there, trapping a few shorts, so he's got a trade on his chart. I got nothing on mine, really. I took a long on momentum there, 810 ticks. Yes, I think sometimes I think it's you do build up a gut feeling with this when you're trading, you know, time after time, and you see these markets move. You kind of know after a while, or you start to have a good feel for where they're going. I'm just going to open up something submitted here just to see if this pushes higher. There's an evaluation here. This is an evaluation. MyFundedFutures here, so I'm just going to roll that and just see what this looks like. So, So, depending on how, yeah, this is a bit better, I think.
Order filled.
Okay, so I've got a higher low here on an evaluation. Well, that's a big risk, but there we go. If this is pushing up to the highs, there'll be some, what's it's there, no doubt. Some, how far do I want to push me luck? This is going to go up, surely. This pushes, I'll put this at break even. I don't need to worry about drawdown here, see, so it's kind of good. Push up, come on. I need this going up. Come on, push, 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 push. If I can get above there, see, that may pass the account. There's going to be liquidity up there, 100%. So if it breaks up my fat, I might even put it a tick above there. Looking like we may get a second entry here. I'm just going to leave this play out, I think. Or shall I take something? Come on, push. It's only an evaluation, so it's not the end of the world. Lag and a lag, it could come down, so I may get out here. Come on. think this might be coming down, so I'm going to put that there, and if it comes there,
Stop
yeah, I
filled.
thought so. If it comes there, it'll take that out anyway, I think. We'll see. So leg and a leg. This is interesting. So did it break there? Not sure. Have a look. Oh. Oh, dear me. I just noticed something. You see this MyFundedFutures chart? I'm just going to bring in, look at this. I was trading that on a sim. I just looked at my balance and I'm thinking, why has my balance gone down? So I've just traded that on a sim. So a little bit of luck there. Okay, consider myself a little bit lucky there. So that's had an attempt to push higher. So so let's put it to definitely a bit lucky there. So 1, 2, 3. Could this be a triple test? So look. So we got a channel here with a break and a new low. It's hard to say. This could come up. It is kind of 2 legs back. Yeah, a little bit lucky there. I'd have been down about $700 on that one. Or is this going to eventually come up? It's hard to say, really. A little bit lucky there. Mind you, if it had made about 1,300, I'd have been. Well, they don't bother me anymore. Evaluations, they certainly don't scare me anymore like they used to. How are you, Karina? You all right? So, boom. It kind of looks like a triple test, that. But it could also be a little bit range. So, I don't really want to be thinking about going along there. So, at the moment, ES channel down with a break. I'm just sitting tight on this at the moment. We've had a break, gone sideways. We've made a couple of attempts and didn't get to these highs and push down. So it could now come down, or it could have another attempt. So the frustrating part is with this, I can't say that there's been a break, because even if I put that there, there's the first break, even if I bring it out a bit. So I would say this is just the first break. So let's have a look at this.
Order submitted.
Where's
Order
this going
filled.
up? Down? Oh. High or low there. There'll be liquidity there if it does eventually. So it's, yeah, it's tough on this. Perhaps I deserve the loss after that little bit of luck. It's all right. I was up quite a chunk anyway, so. Come on. There we go. We should now, if we can get out of here again, we should hopefully get up to there. But I'm not gonna, I'm gonna wait for it to break and then put it there. Get higher, come on. I may just get something here.
Stop filled.
Got a couple of ticks, I think. The trouble is this going to push higher? May do. Or it could be a channel down, 1, 2 attempts to go, and it could come down here. So I'm going to sit tight on this one a minute. Let's have a look at this ES.
Order filled.
So I'll go here. There'll be liquidity above there. Come on, push up. Be liquidity there, so come on. Pop. Come on. You know, you want to.
Target
Okay,
filled.
beautiful. So I had a feeling that it was going to take that out there, so that's past it, I think. I think it has. Yeah, comfortably. Okay, so that's past. Nice, happy days. Or has it? Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Yeah, that's past that account. So I assume volume sucks because of CPI tomorrow. To be honest with you, I've not looked at news. I still can't get my damn news thing to work, which is a little bit frustrating. Okay, so that MyFundedFutures one is now passed, so I will stick that back onto a sim now so I don't accidentally get into it. So that's that done. So I can concentrate on the 5 accounts I've got here now. So I was hoping that would push up there. I listened to quite a few traders lately, and I was listening to one guy who was talking from one of the trading floors, and he said if so many newer traders adopted this one idea, it would make a difference in their trading. You get way more volume apparently once you pick off these the stops. As we know, market tends to move towards liquidity, and obviously there's stops. So I am trying to pay attention to more where I think price is going to head to and what stops it may take out. And it pushed above there perfectly like I thought it would. I thought it was going to move from there, but it came down and had one more bounce. So it's kind of a triple test really, and obviously then it eventually worked. But that's kind of where I thought it would be going. So we've had a break of this channel. We've made 2 attempts to push up, and we're struggling to get up there. So whether it would go sideways a bit more and eventually push up, but I have a feeling now it's tried a couple of times. It may just come down. So we got no news today, I'm assuming, have we? So probably going to be some liquidity below there. So I expect that level to sort of to get broken. Let's see if it holds or if it does. If that does hold 2 legs back, it may eventually get up. But Private Ryan, hey buddy, how you doing, mate? How you doing? So that's past there. So I'm just going to pop something on the screen so I don't accidentally try. I have stuck onto a sim anyway. So futures. Let's make it in red. Okay. Okay, leg down, high, low, trapping a few. I'd like to see it break below there. I think it probably will. We've had a break. It has made a couple of attempts to push higher. Will it try again? So, would I expect that to get stopped out? Probably, but because we've made 2 attempts, I think it probably will come below this line here, but maybe take that out first. We'll see. Yeah, this is going to come down, I think. Oh, look at that. I'm using two different firms. I don't know it was possible to do that. Yes, it is. Put it this way. I trade Apex on Rhythmic, and you can trade on NinjaTrader if you use Tradeovate. So I'm trading with MyFundedFutures on Tradeovate. So you can do both. So, and I'll show you. If I click on connection and bring that down, if I click on connection, you can see I've got MyFundedFutures, that's on Tradeovate, which is connected, and Rhythmic. So you can do that, yeah. So, but having said that, with MyFundedFutures, they'd like you to go for 5 points or more, but because the point system is more on the NQ, you really want to be doing that trading. If you're going to trade both, I would definitely suggest trading MyFundedFutures on the NQ, because obviously the point system a little more. They don't really want Microsoft. Does it affect your internet connection when connected? Doesn't make a difference, mate. Or I haven't noticed a difference. Can you copy them across? You can, but you don't. Let me think about what you're saying here. You're not about copying trades on the NQ, because you don't want to be copying from there to there because it's a different chart, although it does something very similar. But I think that's what you mean. Sorry, mate. Yes, you can. My mistake. So if I bring in, let's say I bring this in. Let's try again. If I bring this in, what I can do is, I think this is what you mean, I can add NQ there. So if I set that to NQ, that's it. Sorry, I need to when it does that. So now I've got the NQ and I've got the ES, so it'll copy both sets at the same time. So if I've got, that's what you mean, yeah, I thought so. So it'll do both. So if the NQ, I can set whatever lead account and then set these individually. Obviously the NQ wouldn't be setting those, and I can go over to these as well and do the same. So I've got that as my main account and these four copied, and I can do the same on the NQ. I don't need it at the moment because I'm only trading the one, but yes, you can. But just keep it in mind, because they want you to trade a little bit more points. They don't want micro scalping. You really need to trade the NQ for MyFundedFutures. Whether they'll change or not, I don't know. But if you do use it, I have got a link in the description down below. If you do use that, I do get a commission from it. It doesn't cost you anything more. But if you do that, make sure, let me just show you, because I don't quite see the point why they do this. So if I just don't want you to get caught out and pay more than you need to. So if I click onto MyFundedFutures, if I go into Start Challenge, so if I bring this in, if you get onto this page, so if you follow my link, it'll bring you onto this page. I don't know why they do this, but they do a starter and an expert. So there's the starter. It's $80. If you put UKFT in when you come to the payment, it knocks you an extra 5% off, which takes down to 76, I think. But that gives you 3k profit, maximum 3 contracts, daily loss limit of 1200, same drawdown, and end of day drawdown. Now, if anybody doesn't know, you don't pay a PA fee when you move on to a PA. That's all you pay, the $76. And if you pass it, you go straight onto a PA. You don't have to pay a PA fee like you do with Apex. So all it costs you for the evaluation and to move on to a PA if you pass is $76. But then when you go on to expert, it charges you an extra $85. There's a higher profit target, less of a drawdown. It makes no sense. I can't see. It makes no sense. Why have more of a profit target and pay more money just to get onto it? It makes no sense. So if you do come into this, make sure you click on starter, and if you click choose, when you go through to payments, choose platform. If you select Ninja, make sure you select NinjaTrader. And then you go next, and if you go into payments, make sure you, if you put my code in UKFT in capitals, it'll give you an extra 5% off, which knock it down to 74. I think Iman touched on it on his video. Yeah, I like him. I like what he's got to say. I thought the one he did about Apex had me in stitches. Yeah, okay, so that stop did get taken out. So is this coming down now? Hard to say at the moment. It certainly looks like it. So I like them. I like the fact that you can get a payment within 5 days, I think. And the payments, if you do submit a payment, it's paid. You can submit it any time and it's paid within 2 days. So I kind of like that if you want a quick payment. I'm hoping Apex start to do that. I do believe they are changing, adding a couple of updates soon, making a few changes. We had those votes, didn't we, if you remember rightly? Thanks to you're welcome, mate. But yeah, if you do use it, I've got a link in the description. If you follow it, I do get a little commission from it. It doesn't cost anything more. So yeah, we had a break. We tried a couple of times. I had a suspicion this was not going to bother, but yeah, I was unaware you could do it, to be fair. I kind of did it by accident. So this is interesting now. This NQ, we got a channel up, we got 2 legs back. Is there something larger there? It's so hard to say, really. Yeah, sorry. I just kind of like those 2 legs down. Obviously, I'm not trading this at the moment. This is this eval's pass, but I like the fact we had 2 nice legs back and a bullish bar there. So this is pushing up. So liquidity here maybe. So I'd preempt it's going to break there, push straight through there nicely. So that would have been a nice little trade, I think. So yeah, this is a good example actually. MyFundedFutures want you trading a minimum of 5 points, really. Now, the beautiful thing is about trading the NQ is if I took that trade, there's 5 points. So normally you would do something like that. If I was going to take that trade, something like that. So let's just put it to 10 points. There you go. You're easily going to take that move, so you're doubling what there. So there's no issues with there. Which, as long as you're trading this, they just want you going for more than 5 points. Well, that move from there to there on that trade, I'd do at least that comfortably. That's double what you need, so there's no issues there. And yeah, you can trade at the same time, so it's win-win. I was unaware. I thought the only platform you could do that was a Quantower, but no, you can, because you're using Trade of 8 here and Rhythmic here. The 2 work together, so interesting. So I would suggest now that is not a channel, and we've got a bigger range, I'd say. It's a bit odd, this. I wasn't expecting that big strong move up like that. 2 legs back, pushed up, we made an attempt and then failed out the bottom, but then we pushed back up. So I just looked at this and thought, this looks like it's coming down. But when we had those 2 legs back, I was a bit confused there, because that, to me, is a really nice looking move to push up. So perhaps it's just a leg, 2 legs back and a leg, and this is maybe a bit more of a range. I was a bit confused there. So this does really now look like a bit of a range. But that surprised me, that's such a big drop out the bottom. We had that push down. Mind you, to be honest with you, we could have a bigger channel down here, so maybe that's the case. Yeah, that's what I love about MyFundedFutures now. I'll just be in a live account tomorrow, so I haven't got to worry about paying a PA fee. No PA fees. They're free. You just pay that one payment. I really like that. So that's interesting. Big strong move down there. So I have switched this onto a sim just in case I forget what I'm doing. So now I'm confused. Okay, this is just looking like a big range to me now. So let's ditch that. Okay, that's what I'm seeing now. It's a bit of an odd pattern, isn't it? But I think that's the way that's coming down like that. I can't see no other way that it's likely going to come down here. Well, that's if it deems this as the bottom of a range. So this is interesting. See, on the NQ, we're clearly bouncing here and we're nearly at the bottom here. So it'd be interesting to see where this thing's going to go. Is it going to turn here or is it going to come straight down? There's some liquidity there. It's picking off. There'll be some there as well. Whether it'll get there, because this. So maybe we've had this break, a new high, or maybe it isn't a break. Maybe we've just made 2 attempts to push up and it's given up. So this thing's coming down by the looks of things, and that makes sense. Liquidity there, which is now gone. There'll be some there. Leg down, higher low. You'd have thought leg up. There'd have been traders jumping in there. So I think it'll get below there. And if it does, the next place it may meet that is down here. But so we could have a leg and a leg, and this could push higher. So I'm just going to put that back there for a minute and see what happens here. If this comes down below there, I'd expect this to come lower, but it may not. Higher low, no. Maybe a higher low. I wouldn't want to be in that long out though, just at the moment. If it comes down below there, which it has comfortably, this will come down some more, I think. So channel break, new low. Channel break. 2 pushes down to a new low. Push, push. Let's see if it gets below here. If it gets below here, I think it'll then target the bottom of this. There is a higher low there, but I wouldn't take that just at the moment because it may trigger yet and come down. You go to the email. I don't know at the moment. I'm not getting involved here. I've got to say, I hate this when it does this sort of curving motion. It's very hard to read. Push up, straight back down. What we're going to do here, we're going to get a second entry short. There is a little double bottom there, so that's a possibility. So there is a failure there. Let's see where this goes. So double bottom, I dare say there's probably some traders taking that long there. It doesn't interest me at the moment because I don't exactly know what's going on, whether it's going to come down below this. Be something larger working there down. So second entry short there. It's going to have to be the lower high or the failure for me, really. We pulled back. We've had one push up, second push up. I think there's a good chance it's going to get below this line and down here. There'll definitely be some liquidity below there and below that line as well. But it could push up. Lower high, I think, may interest me. This could go up or down, really. There is a possible short failure there, but after this big push down and a couple of attempts, I don't think long is on my watch list at the moment. Tough on this. It may come launching down there, or it could go up. I'm just not sure about this at the moment. I'm not ready to take a short there. Could quite easily push above there. 1, 2, 3. Maybe another push up there, giving us a triple test. That may interest me. Second entry short here. Let's have a look. Second entry short triple test, or is it just going to come down? It may do. Looks like it's going to, doesn't it? So that would have worked. I just don't like that. Not when we've had that. We could easily push above there, get a triple test before we come down. If we get below there, this is on its way down. Yeah, it's a little bit. I was hoping leg up we'd get 1, 2, 3 attempts, which would take out that stop and maybe something along there, and then give us something bearish. I mean, that channel is a possibility, but I do like the fact that it's kind of working. But you just got to wait here, really. If it gets below that little double bottom there, I think it'll probably come further down. There's going to be some stops below there, I'd say. But I'd like one more push up. I want it to get above there, because that to me is probably the weakest position I can see there. I'd like to see it break above there, and that may give us that triple test. But is it gonna get up there? It may not even get up there. It's very close to just once it gets below there, I think it's game over. So let me just move that out of the way. There's a failure there. So I'd like to see that trigger, then push up, take out a stop there, and then maybe give us something. So channel down, one attempt to go higher. Maybe a second. No, if it gets below there, it's finished then. It'll come down a bit further. It's too late then, really. I don't want to get in there. I'd like that to trigger, which it has. Push above there, take out that stop, take out that stop. That to me is a weak position. I wouldn't want to go short that low down. That's gone now by a tick. I'd like to see that one go. That one's gone now, or is it? I want to see that go. That stop there, it may not. There is a second entry short there if that comes bearish. But it may come a bit higher. Okay, break above there, go on. There we go. That stop's gone now. Will it get up here? do you know what? Bringing that there would make this bottom fit better. Maybe not. So channel down, one attempt to go higher. I'm not counting that because that's part of the same move. This is a second attempt to go higher, so it's kind of a leg and a leg. If we can get above there, clear out any possible liquidity above there, and then show us something bearish, and may interest me in a lower high there. Or it could rocket up. You never know really, but 1, 2, 3, possible triple test. But it'll be a lower high that interests me, nothing else. So any liquidity there, or there, and that one is all disappeared now. There is some possibly there. I'm hoping it comes down. So I'm now thinking that is more like that, with a break and a new low, one leg up, two legs up, and then down. But as I say, this could be the sort of bottom. You never quite know where it's going to bounce from. There is a bit of support there, and it's made a double bottom there. But I'd like it to come below here. Thing is, with that, when the market opens with two legs back and a strong bounce up there and a kind of a higher low, you'd like to think that stop, if people are bullish for the day, you know, stops there to push higher, might not be a bad place to go. And we've tried a couple of bounces there, and we've tried again. So it's hard to say. So leg and a leg. If we can get a strong push down below that EMA and a lower high, that may interest me. So leg and a leg. As long as it doesn't go any further. It needs to come below that EMA strongly, really. Channel. 2 pushes up. So there'll be liquidity below there quite lightly. Buyers going along there as it's not got below here. So if we can get a strong push down below that EMA, lower high here, will be interesting. But that bearish bar has just triggered, and that thing looks like it's ready to launch. It's gone straight up above that. So I'm starting to think now maybe this is on its way up. You'd like to think by the looks of that couldn't get down below there. There's some strong buyers below there that are, you know, holding or adding or whatever they're doing. But let's have a look. Have you tried trading more intuitively based on price action? I have been trying. It's working. I think the more experience you get, I think a lot of that comes into play anyway. I think it's a given. You took the failed second entry short momentum. Yeah, I just what was I saying? I tend to a degree. Yeah, I do tend to. I sort of trade Pats and also look at some Penguin trades, and that was kind of a possible Penguin moment there. Couple of legs up. It's a sort of crunch point here. Does it come down? We know there's stops there for sure. We know there's some down there. So we've got a leg down, couple of attempts. If this was to push strongly below that EMA, I may look for something down here to go short. So there is a certain amount of, you know, sort of, I tend to go a lot with what looks right, I think. I think that's important as you grow as a trader. But like, as you say, yeah, it's something I think it happens to us all. We all sort of get a gut feeling, and, you know, we all kind of Yeah, I think it's important. I had this conversation with Mac in an email maybe a year ago. I was asking him some questions about this, and he said it's perfectly natural to look when you see the market and you notice things happen. It's perfectly natural to change and develop as a trader. It's part of it. You know, I still believe that that's why Mac never tells us his trades. Never. Sometimes he says he kind of gives it away, but I think Mac takes trades that don't follow his rules, and the reason he does that is because he's an experienced trader, and he can't give us too much information when we're learning. He needs to keep it simple. You know, if he starts going into the way he trades, his gut feeling, his instincts, we'll just get confused. You know, there's a certain syllabus. He's got to teach us in a certain way. He keeps things with minimal information as possible, keeps to the basics, and the rest you pick up with experience. And I think that's why, I'm convinced that's why he doesn't really show us the trades he's taken for a day. And it's like any job. You know, whatever profession you're in, as you grow and you improve and you get better, you'll find your own way of doing things, what suits you, what works for you. So that's definitely part of it. Yeah, I would never be worried about that or afraid of it or think, oh, no, I can't think outside the box. I think as you experience things grows, I think thinking outside the box just comes as a given. So this is interesting. So we've got like it's kind of a range there, and we've broken out of it. So this could still come back down. He showed us a live trade maybe last week. He's definitely not actually. Yeah. Yeah. If you look at some of his trades, I thinking the signal bar doesn't look that good. I wouldn't take that. But experience, 25 years plus, seeing price every day, he just knows it's not necessarily just about the signal bar. There's a certain amount of how price looks. Because if you think about it, you know, I've got another chart up here, and sometimes I'll have it looks quite the same today. I might have to reload that. But sometimes bars look great on here, but crap on here. But it still works. So there's definitely, you know, signal bar is obviously a big part of it. But I've seen him take something which doesn't look anything better than maybe that bar there to go long, and he'll still take it. So there's definitely a certain amount of intuition, without a doubt. Just reload this other chart up here. So there is a lower high there. I'm still not jumping in just yet because we got a leg and a leg. We could. I don't think it's a bad trade, that, but I'm staying out of it just at the moment. We have got. Yeah, I'm just sitting tight just at the minute because it's stacking a little bit here. So it's kind of a move. It could be pushing below this and bounce and come down, or it could go up. It's not the easiest chart to read. It's doing a few things out of the ordinary, I think. I think this will likely come down, but I don't know. It's getting a little bit congested here. I am using careful when I'm the 5-minute chart. 20, yeah. I absolutely think you branch out. You start with the basics, and then when you start to get an understanding of it, you ought to. I think it's just growing. You grow as a trader. You can't sit in front of these charts day in, day out, year after year, and not notice patterns and things. And if you notice the same thing happening again and again, it's natural. You're going to start thinking, oh, I might start having a go at those, or, you know, I tend to do that. I see certain things, that thing that I talk about once in a while when we have these tight channels. We haven't really got any at the moment, but often when we get these sort of what I call double bar channels, this type of channel there, That's in a downtrend. Whenever we get a bullish bar in something like that, it almost always works. So for instance there, we're coming down there, we've got a bullish bar there. If you just sold on the close of that bar and went for 2-point risk, so there's a 2-point risk and 2-point profit. If you just sold there on the close of that bullish bar, crosses over, goes up a bit, comes straight down. So that one would have worked. Another one there. If you'd have, I don't know how to move this. If you'd have sold on the close of that bullish bar, went up a little bit, came straight back down, you got another 2 points. Whenever we get a slightly wider channel like that, if we're in a downtrend and we get a bullish bar, it's like a miniature pullback, a small pullback. If you sort of sell there, you got 2 points there. 2-point risk, 2-point profit. It's a 1-to-1. That worked and that works. So whenever you get these, what I deem as a double width channel, this is more of a single width. It's quite tight. But this is more double. You could sort of have a couple of bars side by side. Just start looking at them. It's amazing how often they work. But you can't help but notice this sort of stuff. But yeah, whenever we get this slightly wider channel and we're going in a certain direction, when you get a bar the opposite side, if you just sell at the close of that bar, goes up, triggers it long, comes straight back down. So it's just a small little pullback, and often it will trigger it. Because if you can have traders may decide to go long there. Just watch those, and you can't help but notice those. And I started watching them and mention it, and apparently, what's his name? Al Brooks has got some sort of a strategy which incorporates that. So, you can't help. Same there, really. Not as obvious there, but we've got like a little spike and channel. But we're pushing up, bearish bar. If you bought at that bearish bar, 2-point risk at the close of that bearish bar, 2-point risk, 2-point profit. There you go. You made $200, depending on. So whenever we get this slightly wider channel and it's moving up and we get a bearish bar, if you buy and vice versa, just start watching stuff and you will start to notice it. What's going on here? Yeah, okay. It started looking like it's stacking there, and it's definitely stacking there. So staying out of this. It's whippy and choppy. What happened to your old accounts? Good question, mate. I've been through what a lot of traders go through. I ended up losing 10 of them and then losing more of them. So it's just, it happens. It's the most I'd traded, and I just felt like a bit out of my depth trading too many, and I just lost two withdrawal accounts. How did you really? Yeah, it does that. But you think about it, look at Wilson. Wilson's lost 3 or 4 lots of 20 accounts. I've lost 1 lot, so can you imagine how he's felt? And he's killing it. He's doing really well. Unfortunately, he's not very well at the moment, so he's off at the moment. I do have a little chat with Wilson now and again, but I know he's had some time off lately. He's been a little ill. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. I didn't really want to ask. You don't want to pry, really, do you? But he's doing really well, Wilson. I find his trade choice is unusual. It's not Pat's sort of anymore. It's kind of Pat's. But, like we were just talking, you find your own way of doing stuff, and it works for him. So, yesterday was a bad day for me, and Max said it was easy. Yeah, I've had that, mate. To be honest with you, if markets are crap, let's say the markets are choppy and crap, but you happen to take a trade earlier and you're up $200 over all your counts, you'll consider that as a good day. It's a winning day. Whereas if you've got the same crap day and someone's had a loss or 2 losses, they'll consider it a bad day. So I think the way you see a trading day, good or bad, I think part of that decision-making process is whether you're green for the day or red for the day. So I did some revenge trading yesterday. I did it myself, mate, on Friday. And I got lucky. For the first time in over 4 months, I moved my stop. I don't know why I did it. I never thought I'd do it again. But I do talk to a couple of traders who've been trading years, and one of them said, I did it for years. Occasionally, something will just happen with your mood. But eventually it will wear away, I am told. But, you know, just because you start making a few payments, making a couple of payments and get a few accounts doesn't necessarily mean the tough stuff is gone. You're still, you know, you're still going to work for a while. So I have got GAT, yes. Now, because I was trading on the NQ and I changed a few things around with my MyFunded Futures account, I stopped GAT temporarily and never put it back on. No, my last payment was about 3 months ago. The 20 accounts, 2 of the accounts I took payments off. So I've had 4 payments this year, or 4 payments, I think, $8,000. But I think what it was, when I went to the 20 accounts, I was trading them 10 and 10. But because I was trading more accounts, I was getting scared to take a trade. So I went for 2 weeks of just going nowhere. So I've got 5 PAs now, and it's so much more relaxing trading 5. But yeah, I was watching a trader, and he was talking about, he does like this little self-assessment periodically through his trading day. How do I feel? Assessing your own mood. How do I feel? Do I feel like I'm trying to squeeze trades? Do I feel patient? And he says he sort of does a head-to-toe type of a assessment on how he thinks his day's going. Is he trying to squeeze trades? And then he makes a decision whether to continue, whether to give up for the day. But, you know, trading's an emotional thing. It does get better, so they tell me. It's definitely got better for me over the last few years. But I think, you know, sometimes things happening in other parts of your life can affect you. I mean, if you're in a bad mood, if you've had a big argument with someone, for instance, you're going to feel snappy. You may feel like lashing out a bit, and it's going to affect your trading. So I think sometimes if you've had a bad day or something's going on in your life, I think it's good to take the odd day off. Much better to take a day off than lash out at the market and be down a couple of losses. And I think part of the attraction with trading is to have more time off. You know, if you've got a serious hobby that you love doing, you know, you play golf or you fish or whatever you do, I think it's important to, you know, enjoy those extra days now and again, especially if markets, well, like today, a little bit unpredictable, a bit choppy. But what's this doing? Is it going up? Is it coming down? Yeah, funny. Just as I said that, Thomas Way's just put that on there. I'm very laid back now. This is so choppy. No established trend. Key level, nothing. Just patiently observing. That's a good point. That is. I think it's really good to observe your mood while you're trading. You know, do that little sort of self-assessment. How am I feeling? Do I feel impatient? Because I do have some times where I feel like I want to try and take a trade rather than waiting for one to come to me. I kind of want to go out and get one. So, sorry, the question about GAT. I've got it back on now, 2 losses, and it won't let me trade. It won't let me trade after 6 o'clock at night. So 2 losses, and after the first loss, if I'm down, let's say I take a big loss and I'm down $500 or more, it won't let me take another trade. So this is interesting. So we've had this sort of couple of legs up. We've tried a couple of times to push high and we're struggling really. So this could come down, but it is, as Thomas Wade says, there's no real structure today. I was saying this earlier, it's got like a weird curve to it, and we had 2 legs up and it didn't go nowhere. I thought this was going to go to the top, and it couple of legs up, then a pull back, and it's a bit choppy. It's very wicky. And this is another time. He's got a good point. This is a good time to put your feet up, relax, make a cup of tea, and just let it do its stuff, because you can get chopped up in this. So it is useful just to, maybe this is the time of day that you might think, I've been trading an hour and a half now, market's going nowhere, it's hard to read, let's have a day off, or the rest of the day off. And on that note, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be here a quick minute. Okay, so I thought down, a couple of pushes up, pull back, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, push below the EMA, big bearish bar there. It's just risky at the moment. It's triggered you, and it's trying to stop you out. So it's just hard to know where markets are going to go at the moment. Sometimes they're easy to read, other times they're just bouncing all over the place, and you can't kind of put your finger on anything. So if you took that thinking this thing's coming down now, it triggered you, and I will be surprised if it doesn't stop that out. It does look like it's just moving around, picking off easy liquidity here. Let's see, it didn't break above it. No, it hasn't. So if you took that trade there, triggered you, stopped you out. You took that bearish bar there, triggered you, trying to stop you out. There you go. So it's very trappy at the moment. You may think this thing's coming down, jump into a short here, triggers you, pushes up, stop you out. So it is just, let's see where this goes. So if you think, okay, let's go long here, where's this going? But yeah, it's just hard to read today. Possible. Yeah, it's just hard to read today. It's absolutely pissing down where I am. It's been an absolutely awful summer. Right, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break while it's just doing its stuff. It's just not really making much sense. So I'll just pop that up there. I'm going to make a quick cup of tea, and I'll be back about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. Righty tighty. Leg down, attempt, second attempt. Yeah, it's just hard to read all this sort of stuff at the moment. We're in the middle of a trading range. Best to stay out. Good advice, mate. Good advice. Trouble is, when it's here, really, it could go up or down. It's not really making much sense. Could come. We kind of leg down. We could have a couple of attempts to push up, and it could come down, or it could just rocket up. It's looking quite different here, isn't it? The NQ's looking quite different. Let me have a look. It's certainly kind of giving you the impression it is coming down, but that's what it sort of leads you to think. And then all of a sudden you decide, oh, let's have a go short here, and it goes up and stuffs you. So we're up to the EMA. If you're thinking, oh, this is coming down, it's bound to come down. Oh, sod it, let's just jump in with a short here. All of a sudden it turns down, pushes up and stops you out. Possibly stops you out. There could be a second entry short here. It's hard to say, but it's hard to read there. So if you did decide to jump down here, as this is pushing down, and put your stop there, you just kiss goodbye to it. Market's got a really clever way of just looking for weak positions. You know, you think, oh, well, we've got to come down here. This is looking like we're coming down. Oh, I'll lose my patience. Let's just jump in here. Turns around, pushes up, takes out your stop. It's just, it's so frustrating how it's annoyingly frustrating how well this works. I don't know. Well, I suppose most of you have been on the valuation and you've just gone a bit silly and you decide to just jump in randomly. Isn't it uncanny how it just doesn't matter whether you go long or short? It just seems to kill you. It's weird. You know, you're thinking surely luck has something to do with that. But as long as you're engaging part of your head, thinking about it, it's going to do this, market is just, it's programmed really cleverly just to take it. Anything looks like it. I think, in all fairness, as an inexperienced trader, you'd have more luck closing your eyes and clicking a button because it's kind of, I think the algorithms have been programmed just to look for weak positional places where traders, inexperienced traders, might just decide to jump in. But it's weird, isn't it, how it does? It doesn't matter what you do. Let's go long, let's go short. As soon as the market starts to go up a bit, you go long, comes down, stops you out, vice versa. It just seems to do it. See, I think it's days like this that it's not a bad idea to finish early. I probably would if it wasn't Absolutely hammering it down outside. I'd pick up my fishing rod and go down the lake. Put my feet up. It's awful. Mind you, I've just had a new TV delivered today, so I'm going to put that up later. We got a 65-inch Samsung, which looks massive. So I'm going to put that up. It's replacing an older 55-inch. We bought one of those curved screens about 8 or 9 years ago. It's just bloody awful. Might take off in 30 minutes. Yeah, what how long are we going for? Half past. Yeah. It's a OLED. OLED. I think it's OLED. Something. QD. I don't know what it is. It was about £1,400, I think. So. Well, I'm a guy. It's a toy, isn't it? Wife and daughter had one of those artisan KitchenAid stand mixers, and I got a TV. So it was either that or a drone. I've had a couple of drones in the past. I think they're really good fun. I do. And I've been looking at another one, actually, looking for another one. I had one a few years ago and smashed it to pieces. Do you do any? I have done in the past, but not lately. Because my whole world's been trading. It's kind of taken over me. My whole life, but I was thinking about getting back into it. I kind of like a flight simulator, that type of stuff. I kind of like. So I've certainly got enough screens for it now. But my daughter does. She's a mad gamer. It was her 16th birthday a few days ago. We bought one of those, amongst other things. One of those little Nintendo Switches, and she spends all her waking life on it at the moment. But I was thinking about again, whenever I get the time, usually after trading. Yeah, I used to. It's just not so much since I've traded. I mean, technology's just it's gone mad, isn't it? Things you can do, but yeah, I'm looking at another drone. I haven't had one for a few years. I think it was a Phantom 4 Pro I had last time, and I smashed it into a tree. I don't know if anybody's had drones before. It was a DJI Phantom 4 Pro. And there's a big park near where I live. And there's a big, nice sloping pathway with trees either side. And the trees grow over the top. It's nice. So I thought it might be nice to have the drone flying down there. You never own one, but they're great fun. I mean, what you can do with them nowadays is amazing. It really is. You can pre-program them all. And get them to do a certain circuit, pointing the camera to a certain area. In fact, they're so easy to fly as well because they've got all the safety features on them now. But I flew this down a path, and what happens is once it gets to a low battery, you can have it set to returns to home. It'll fly up to a certain height, come back to you where it took off and land. And it was low, and I was flying down beneath these trees, and I heard my handset starting to bleep, so it was going to return to home. And it was covered by trees, so it just flew up in the air, hit the trees, and came crashing down. And it was hanging about in bits. But it's amazing what you can do with them nowadays. It really is. The cameras on them are incredible. Some of them you can fly 5, 6, 8 miles away. The battery life's getting good on them. I mean, the stability and the accuracy. And most of them now have got obstacle avoidance sensors. They are good fun. Especially if you go on holiday, you take them on holiday with you can have some great fun with them. It's like a boy's toy, isn't it? I don't know where this market's going today. It's slow, it's sideways, it's not really giving us any indication of what it's planning on doing. It's God knows. Not too bad, Ben. Ben Morgan. Have we spoke before, or are you a new face? Ben Morgan. Where are you from, bud? Ben Morgan. We get no faces on it now and again. Some people come and go, but just now and again. Spoke before, mate. I thought your name sort of rang a bell. Newcastle fan. Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, okay. I'm going to say Ben Morgan. That's like a very British name, isn't it? Yeah. I got you. Yeah, so. Yeah, North East way. I got you. I was watching a program the other day on TV, and it was on about how dangerous a place Middlesbrough is. Unbelievable. Just popped in whilst the markets are slow. Yeah, they are a bit slow, aren't they? F1, not so much. Not so much. I have, I'm a bit of a cricket fan, and if you're in the US, a lot of you guys aren't really aware of cricket so much. But I've watched MotoGP in the past, the motorbikes, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm more of a cricket guy. I like sitting in the sun for hours on end and having a few beers. Yeah, a lot of you US guys, I suppose it's close-ish to your baseball, but in fact, we had I think it was the World Cup 2020, and I think the US actually did pretty well. I think it was in the Caribbean, around areas, various places in the Caribbean. I think, sure, New York. They did one of the games in New York, I think. But there's big money in that F1, isn't there? Massive money. I've got a friend of mine's dad who's mass keen. He goes all over the world to watch it. But yeah, it's big. It's amazing the amount of money in there, and the amount of money them cars cost as well. I have watched it before, but I'm not sort of a cricket. Pretty big recently. Indian Premier League. Yeah, I know. Yeah, massive. I got to say, Indian people, I really, really like Indian people. I love how passionate they are about cricket. They're absolutely fanatical about cricket. I like that. But I know we have a tournament every 2 years between England and Australia called the Ashes. And every 2 years it'll be in the UK, and then 2 years later it'll be in Australia. And it's a tournament which goes over around 5 to 6 weeks. So that's one thing I'd like to do in the next few years, is go to Australia for 5 or 6 weeks and watch the Ashes test. I don't know if anyone knows much about cricket, but a test match, they call it a test match, goes over 5 days. So you literally play cricket all day from around about sort of 10:30, 11 in the morning to about 6:30 at night. You do have a couple of breaks. They stop for about 20, 30 minutes for lunch and about 40 minutes for tea. But you just sit in the sun, and it's just lovely. If you watch a test match, you just sit there and drink some beers, put your feet up. It's a great atmosphere. You don't get, trouble there like you do in a lot of football over here. It's just a really nice atmosphere. And yes, they did, yeah. They're a good team. They're mad passionate. I think it's their national sport, but they play from a really young age in there. They're absolutely fanatics about cricket. But it is a really nice game. It's a very technical game. I've been watching it for years, and sometimes it catches me out at times. But I think it's getting bigger in the US. I know you guys, mind you, having said that, I think there was a lot of sort of Indian guys that moved to the US. So it was quite a sort of almost like a foreign team, but I know it's definitely getting better, and they did it right, actually. They did pretty well. But it is a nice game. And the good thing about cricket, unlike a lot of sports, if you lose slowly. So you don't get that up on a high 1 minute and then down in the dumps. you know what it's like. You're watching a football game and some of the, or basketball or whatever, these games can turn around in the last few minutes and it just knackers your emotions. 1 minute you're high as a kite, next minute you're down in the dumps. You don't really get that with cricket so much. Most of the time you kind of know you're slowly going to lose or you're going to win. It happens more slowly. But, I mean, them cricket balls, they're heavy and solid. And when you've got one of them coming at you at 90 miles an hour, in fact, there was a guy killed in Australia maybe 7 or 8 years ago, Phil Hughes. He was bowled at. He did a hook shot and it hit him in the sort of sides of the neck, just sort of, you know, behind the hairline, round the ear, and it ruptured a blood vessel and killed him. So them balls can be absolutely deadly. It's pretty sad, that was, yeah. Killed, had a massive brain bleed, and that was it. But them balls, I suppose they're like your baseballs. I mean, they're made from sort of leather, and there's like a lot of cork in that inside, so they're pretty weighty. I mean, if you imagine something the weight of an orange but solid, you imagine, you know, a lot of these bowlers are bowling at sort of 95, 96 miles an hour. They wear helmets, but up until recently, they never had any sort of protection in the back of the neck. And then obviously, if you're doing some sort of a hook shot, and when the ball's coming at you, and it can do some damage. Yeah, I played some cricket when I was young. Yeah, I mean, I remember it when I was sort of younger. Me granddad always had it on. So yeah, I never come into it a little bit more later in life. But you know, we do things, don't we? You know, you have these little memories about when you were younger, and you know, my granddad always had. He's not with us anymore, but he always had cricket on. So yeah. But it's a great game, really technical game, but just great game. But I know a lot of US guys are big on your sort of American football. Well, I think it's American football, basketball and baseball. Obviously, depending on where you're from. But there's nothing like going to a sports game, sitting having a few beers and a bit of dinner with some mates. It's a great day out. I really enjoy it. I do. God, this market's slow, isn't it? So leg down with a break or channel, leg down, up and up. Is it going up or coming down? Is it going to turn here? God knows. God knows. In fact, I would, as far as to say that probably where it's working at the moment. Let's bring that over to there. So we've had the channel down with a break and a new low, a couple of legs up and a bounce. We do seem to be kind of working in that area. Yeah, we do, don't we? So we got a leg and a leg. Is this going to come down from here? Quite possibly. Trouble is, when it's like this, you never know when it's going to break out and maybe head for the hills or come down lower. But we know this area is held quite well. Couldn't get below this. That stop. I'm guessing when the market opened, we had those two legs down and it turned really strongly there. So you may have, some traders may have jumped in there for hopefully leg and another sort of push up to here or whatever. But it's hell there. I was thinking could come down below there, but it couldn't seem to get below there. Come across big guy. You come across as a rugby guy. Do you drink Guinness? I have been known to. I've got a couple of cousins who are very big on rugby. Played sort of county rugby and that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't mind a rugby game. But I have drunk Guinness in the past. But I tend to be a single malt guy now. I like my whiskey. When I go out, I suppose, yeah, occasionally I'll have a Guinness. It's a nice drink sometimes, Guinness, but I don't know, over the summer I've tended to have a little bit of cider more. Cider was always too sweet for me when I was younger, but yeah, I don't mind a Guinness at all. I have gone through phases of drinking it. And a bottle of dog. You'll know what that is, won't you? Newcastle Brown Ale. I used to drink. I went for a phase of drinking that when I was younger. Nuki Brown. I haven't had any of that for 5 or 6 years. I went to I think it was an 80s concert where I live, and I took about half a dozen bottles of that. I just fancied something different. That was a good day, that was. I'll tell you what, there's very little activity on Thomas Wade's Facebook group, really, because it's just doing nothing. What the dog. Oh, you despise it? Really? Oh, I like it, actually. I started drinking when I was a bit younger. I lived down in Winchester for a couple of years. My stepdad was in the army down there, sort of in the middle, sort of 90s, late 90s, when I sort of first came of age. And I drank it there for a bit. It was light and bitter. And brown ale there. Okay, what's going on here now? Is this going to come back in? It's taken out any liquidity at the top there, or are we going to push up? Could do anything, all this. I'm going to put that like that and say that is probably a channel with a break and a new high. This will be interesting to see where this goes. If we come in here and get a lower high, that may interest me for a short. We're clearly finding some support here. So bullish bar there, triggered, bearish bar, but I want a lower high. I know Thomas Wade's just put it on and he's got that as well with a break. So I'm not taking that one just in case, but if we get a lower high, I may have a go at it. It is working by the looks of things. Rebrewed in Newcastle, is it not now? I believe Yorkshire, is it? Bloody hell, they grab everything, don't they? I did live up Yorkshire way for a while. We lived in Catterick, which is sort of North Yorkshire. Same again, military camp back then. But my dad was originally from Yorkshire, Harrogate. He was killed when I was a little lad in Belfast. He was in the army. He was killed in Belfast in sort of early 70s. He was from Yorkshire, thick Yorkshireman. Let's see if we get a lower high here. Have you tried Hawkston Beer by No, I haven't actually. Hawkston Beer by Jeremy Clarkson. No, I haven't. Hawkston Beer. I'll keep an eye out for that. I'm just going to get an order ready, just in case we get a lower high. So channel break, new high. We are respecting this top. So a nice drop, not overpriced either. I'll have a look for that in the local shop. It's available only in the UK. I'll have a look at that. Hawkston. Yeah, I don't see. You're US, aren't you, Ryan? So you don't tend to have things like ales now over there, real ales, do you? Oh, you're Germany. Oh, of course you are. Yeah, yeah. You're originally from the UK, aren't you? And then you're out in Germany. The Germans make some nice beer. I've been out there a couple of times, but only when I was younger. Of course, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're from the UK, aren't you? And now you're out in Germany. We have had this conversation before, haven't we? Let me just check this isn't a bigger channel. I know you're from Germany. Oh, okay. I know we've talked about it before. I've been to Lemgo and Munster. I think my sister was born in Lemgo. Let's see if this bar gets trapped. So we've had a break, 2 pushes up to a new high. Let's see what happens here. Trouble is, there may be something larger here, and I don't want to get stuck. Trouble is, if I take a short there, we could have two legs, a second entry long, so it may trigger me and then come up and stop me out. So I might just sit tight here. Looks like it's trying to take that out anyway, so let's just ditch
Order
that for a minute.
cancelled.
Interesting. It's going to have to be a failure, actually. I don't want to get caught in a second entry long upwards. Okay, there is a lower high there, but I'm just staying out of this just in case we have leg and we push up. It'll have to be a failure from me. There will be liquidity there, possibly there, and maybe some down here. So if this does push below the EMA and give us a failure, I may have a go at that one because we are ranging at the moment. Let's have a look at this NQ. It's one of those days where you can get chopped up. It's easy to get suckered into a position here and get stuffed. Sometimes I find when it's like this, sometimes you're better off just completely avoiding it. It's quite random. When it's random, it sometimes can trick you into taking a trade. Your kind of mind plays tricks on you and thinking, oh, this looks good. You'll break even for the day, yeah. Best way to be on a day like this, I think. So we've had let's say this is a channel with a break, two pushes up to a new high. There's a lower high there. We could get a second entry long there, which is why I wanted to stay out of a lower high. Now there still could be a larger channel there. That's the bit that confuses me. So if we can push below that EMA or maybe trap a long here, that may be an option, but there could be a second entry long and that could continue on higher. So we'd have to make a judgment here. So possible second entry long, although I'm staying out of it, it may work. But there's clearly support there, or clearly resistance there, which we're struggling to get through. We couldn't get a close above there. We did there, but it came straight back in. We did again, but it came straight back in. So it could go up or it could not. So there is a second entry long there, which is triggered. Now that may work, but I'm staying out because it may come down, stop you out. If it does, that will be new high, 1, 2 more, so 3 attempts. So if that isn't a channel, you've got a channel break, 2 pushes to a new high, trying to go once, try or twice, possible failure. But it could go up. It's a little bit sideways. It could do either or here, so I'm just sitting tight here a minute. Yeah, Thomas Wade's just posted a larger channel, so there could be. So let's put that. That works actually. But as I say, there is, look at that. So that's interesting. See, now is that worth taking? Or the only trouble is we could go a bit sideways. I think that's not too bad, to be honest with you. Let's see how that works out. You gotta be so careful here. That's going to end up a bloody doji.
Order
I'm staying out of
cancelled.
this. It is a little bit sideways there. We spent a lot of the day like that, so it could. My experience is sometimes you can get caught out when it's like this. It is a little bit stacked. Pushed up, 2 attempts to go lower. It may work that. It's kind of 2 legs back and a push up, but we have got support here, which we've struggled to get through. But it is kind of like 2 legs back, isn't it? And it is a second entry long. A lot of times these work, but I stay out of them because it's just you're going long into support. So 2-1, are you? Yeah. Yeah, there is a second entry long there, but when we've had this and we've had this, we've been up here once, couldn't get through, got through, came back in, got through again by a little bit, came back in. It's just a bit risky, that, in my opinion. Now I know one guy took it. Thomas Wade didn't take it. Another bit that makes me a bit concerned is if this is the top of the channel, we came back, we didn't get very high, we didn't get very high again, so it could trap along and come down. It's kind of ranging, so it's a bit risky there, whatever you do. Yeah, Thomas Wade said just too close to the highs. Yeah, it is really going along there. We've been up here once before. We made another attempt and had 2 legs down. We've been up here once, twice, 3 times, and that came back. So it's clearly struggling. Now, there is a second entry long, granted, but it's, in my opinion, it's risky going long into them highs because it can sting you. I've taken trades like that before. And it's when you do nothing, it rockets up. As soon as you get in, it triggers you, comes down and stops you out. So I would say if we don't pull back into here, which I don't think we will now, I'd say it's going to start working its way up here. Okay, folks, do you know what? I'm going to knock it on the head today. I've been going 2 hours now. It's just hard going today. There is a second entry long there. I just think it's risky going into those longs. There was a few other people had the same sort of theory. I find when I do, my patience is good at the moment. My discipline's okay at the moment, so I'm just trying to keep that consistent. You're calling it day 2, yeah. I'm trying to keep that consistent now. As tempting as it is there, and it may work, but we're clearly struggling to get above there. And sometimes there'll be stops there. Sometimes what it'll do, it'll flush down and take out a bunch of stops, and then you may get some longs here deciding now I want to get into it. So it's just one of those things. Mac may mark it because it may be worth a point to him. He tends to go for a point, so if he thinks he can get out for a point, he may take that. There's a point to there, so he may mark that, but I don't go for a point anymore. So it's clearly range at the moment, so it's just risky, I think, going into there. So it's best for me to stay out of that one. But there you go. So I'm going to call it for a day. It's hard going today. It's very slow. It's choppy. It's not making a lot of sense. But that does look like it's probably at least trying to work, whether it will or not. So I'm going to leave you there. So Tuesday, Wednesday, tomorrow. And there we go. So my MyFundedFutures account is passed. So I'll be trading that tomorrow. So we'll see how we get on there. I have failed a few of those because you can only trade 3 contracts, and I tend to trade them quite aggressively. But there you go. So I'm going to love you and leave you. I'll be back tomorrow. So best of luck if you're trading. But I just go carefully. These days, I think it's a good time to finish early. Go and put your feet up. But there you go. So I'll leave you to it. Have a great evening. Stay safe. We'll catch up again tomorrow. Bye for now.